Java security related capabilities. JDK 1.0 policy sandbox for applets other unlimited. Mechanism security manager bytecode verify class loader. JDK 1.1 was invented in 1997. Policy can also grant total trust to sign applets. Mechanism Java Achiever JAR crypto related APIs. Inflexible, too late or too much privilege. Netscape and Microsoft extension enabled more flexible approaches, incompatible with each other with Sun. J2SC Java 2 Platform Standard Edition, which was invented in 1998, includes SDK 1.2 and runtime. Policy can also grant fine-grained privileges to specific applets classes based on a source and or signatures. Mechanism access control protection, domain code source, permission, guarded object. Java plugin support both Microsoft and Netscape. Java 1.0 security policy. Sandbox policy for applets. Cannot access the local file system or devices. Network connections only to applet load source. Cannot invoke any local program or library. Untrusted indicator on top level windows. Cannot manipulate basic classes or another thread group. Applet viewer can be initialized to vary these. Java Security Manager. Class define checks method called by system. This method throws exceptions if invalid. To create a security policy from scratch, create a subclass, code an instance, install a system.set security manager. This cannot be revoked or replaced. This is used to create the sandbox. If no security manager installed, all privileges are granted. Bytecode verifier checks a class file for validate. Code only has a valid instruction and a register use. Code does not overflow, underflow, stack. Does not convert data type in illegally or forage pointers. Access objects as correct type. Method calls use correct number and types of arguments. References to the other classes use legal names. Goals is to prevent access to underlying machine. Class loader responsible for loading classes. Given class name, locates, generate its definition. Always look at a standard classes first. Every class has a reference to the class holder instance that define it. Keeps a namespace of a different applets separator, different class loader instance. Each class loader instance OS process. Problems with 1.0 though 1.1. Sandbox too limiting. Trusted programs given too much power. Hard to define a new security policy. Must own a security manager and must install on its own JVM. New privileges are difficult to add. The method must be added to security manager and create a backward incapability for each addition. Security related capabilities in Java 2 SDK 1.2. Fine granted configurable policies. Sample security policy, runtime state, Java 2 runtime security check algorithm, permission and its subclasses, security manager and class control, access control, guarded object and guard. Java 2 runtime security check algorithm. If method M required permission P, M is implemented, caller's current security managers check permission P. By default, this calls new access controller class. For each call, stack entry unwind from caller. If caller's protocol domain lacks P, exception fails. If caller called do privileged without contexting return, if caller do privileged with contexting check, it return if context parameters are P, else exception. Java security disadvantages. Hard to prove correct, complex from security point of view, rapidly expanding, changing, VM plus libraries, lack of formal security model, many internal independencies, often breaks all the way, complex dependencies on this system. Java security disadvantages. Applets evident many security measures. Branches demonstrated, many areas immature, no standardized auditing, simplifies reverse engineering of code, poor performance may encourage a security weaken a shortcut. Weak against denial of service and misuse. Insurance implementation default. Example, a null class loader or security manager. Security policy management too complex for end user and weak administrative support. Flexible policies accepted by user may permit hidden branching interactions.